Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest in exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
Thanks for riding along with us here on Motorhead Garage. And we are talking about odors. Now, bad odors are everywhere, and they're especially hard to get rid of if they're in your vehicle. And now, Chris, there are other people claiming to eliminate odors out there, but what's wrong with those products?
What you're going to find is a lot of the other products are using cover scents. They spray in a particular cover spray that grabs the odor. It basically buries it or puts it deep down into the fibers for a short time, but that's a temporary solution. It's not a permanent solution.
So if you start out with a mildew smell, you add some orange scent to it, you've got orange mildew now after a time. So that's no good.
Exactly.
But dead scent kills the scent. And how do you do it?
Well, dead scent is using ClO2 or chlorine dioxide. Chlorine dioxide is a powerful oxidizing chemical compound.
Chlorine dioxide sounds dangerous.
Well, actually, it sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
It does have the word chlorine in the name, but it's not dangerous. That's where it ends being anywhere near like bleach, which has dangerous byproducts. Chlorine dioxide, when it's done doing its thing with eliminating odors, breaks down to something as simple as water and salt.
And how does it actually work? How does it eliminate the odors?
Well, chlorine dioxide is made of 2 oxygen atoms and 1 chlorine atom. And what it does is it oxidizes the odor molecules by breaking off, and it has that selective property that can break off and attack the molecules of the odors, breaking them apart and dissolving them permanently.
Is dead scent something that's going to be used by professionals, or can you do this at home?
Both. This is actually something that is used by professionals. There are some, let's say, professional remediation companies will use chlorine dioxide that can use dead scent. We have auto auctions that will purchase and use it to recondition vehicles before they go to the auction block and back out into the market to get rid of the bad odors. But it's also been designed to be safe for your average consumer to use in the home with no chemical, hand-to-chemical contact.
I think the thing that's significant is the same kit is being used by the pros. You can use that same kit at home as well.
Exactly.
And you've got different vehicles covered here. You got boats and cars and SUVs as well. Why the different sizes?
We find that there is a need to have a different size, gram size, depending on the size of the area being treated and also on the severity of the odor. Let's face it, for someone who just has a basic musty smell, you might get away with a lower gram treatment pack. Whereas if a vehicle's been sitting for a long time, or say an RV or a boat for a long time, they have a stronger odor, then they're going to up their game to a 50 or even sometimes the 100 gram treatment pack. That allows the consumer to now graduate the treatment based on what the level of odor is in that area.
We talked about odors. There are all kinds. What can dead scent eliminate? What kind of odors?
Well, one of the biggest that we're thinking about is smoke smell. That's huge. We hear that all the time. But also mice or rodents that get into vehicles. Also, it could be just food. People taking their kids back and forth using it, or people driving while they're eating at the same time, things get spilled. Could be pet odors in the vehicle. All these things, again, we talked about mold and musty smells, all these odors build up over time within a vehicle or within an RV or a boat. So if you name the odor, chlorine dioxide can go after and will eliminate it.
Dead scent comes in a kit.
Yes.
How does the kit actually work once you get it?
Well, once they open up the treatment, the plastic containment system here, that's the treatment pack. That is going to be laid flat inside the treatment area that they're going to add water to the line, and then they would open the foil pouch where the treatment pack is located. Take that out, you're going to see a yellow side and a blue side. The blue side is then placed into the water. At that point in time, the water is absorbed, it comes through the treatment kit, it will swell, and then it begins to react and off gas, and ClO2 will then be released into the area.
I know you said it's safe, but how long do I need to wait before I actually get back into the vehicle after we give it a treatment?
We recommend a minimum of 6 hours for a treatment. If you can go longer, that's even better. If it's out in the direct sunlight, then we would recommend you wait until it's out of direct sunlight or in a garage, somewhere where the sun isn't beating in, because sun will react with ClO2. You want to let it run then again, minimum 6 hours. We recommend, if you have the opportunity, again, overnight is even better. And then once it's done, you've got to give yourself at least an hour to let things air out and let all that gas out of the vehicle.
By the way, there's also a kit for hunters, so it'll take the scent out of your clothing. The deer won't even know you're out there. You can find that and all these products from Dead Scent at deadscent.com. And you can find more of Motorhead Garage just around the corner. Motorhead Garage is brought to you by AMSOIL, the first in synthetics. PaintedAutoBodyParts.com, the leading U.S. auto body parts online store. And by Custom Auto Sound, audio for the great classics, customs, and street rods.
Well, in the 80s, you had a computer that looked like this. If you're old as I am, you'll remember this. Program read-only memory chip, onboard diagnostics 1. Then in 1996, well, we went to the sealed computer on onboard diagnostics 2. Well, now we're up to the CANS bus network with over 75 modules on a car. Folks, computers have been running your cars for decades. How do they do that? Well, that's a great question. Welcome to this AMSOIL Tech Tip. It's all about the CCC, Command Corrects Condition. What's going on? Well, the condition is your oxygen sensor. It's actually smelling and seeing what's going on in the exhaust. And then your computer, well, that's the command. It corrects it. So if it's rich, it goes lean. If it's lean, it goes rich. And it switches that back and forth and back and forth. Short-term, long-term fuel trim will tell the computer when. If it's a positive number, the computer's adding fuel. If it's a negative number, it's taking away fuel. Now, what's going on? Rich and lean conditions. You can see it. Rich means that there's too much fuel and not enough air. A lean condition is too much air and not enough fuel. So the oxygen sensor will see that, then the computer will actually turn the injectors on or off according to the rich or lean conditions. Now, Len, you're an expert, so I want to give you a test, man. You come up here. I know you know all about cars, so let me pick an item here, and we'll start with this guy right here. Clogged fuel filter. Would that be a rich or a lean condition?
I'm going to go with a lean condition on this one.
There you go. I can't get the fuel through, so I got too much air. How about a broken vacuum line?
That's going to be lean.
Lean, once again, too much air, not enough fuel. Here's a tricky one. Dirty air filter.
That's going to be rich, John.
Rich, man, you got this, right? Because we got too much air, not enough fuel. I know I'm going to get you with this one. Injector problem.
I'm going to go with both.
Uh-oh, both. Why both?
Well, it could be stuck open or it could be stuck closed. I could give you either.
Man, there's no getting this pro. Let's go with stuck open. What is that going to be?
Stuck open gets you fuel dilution. Fuel dilution ends up with excess fuel in the oil pan. That is basically cutting your oil with a solvent. So you're making your oil thinner. When we thin the oil down or when we add solvent to the oil, such as gasoline, you are getting yourself closer to that edge where you're going to see wear. You're going to see all kinds of issues. So fuel dilution is a problem. Good news, the higher the quality of the synthetic, the more resistant it is to effects from fuel dilution.
Now take it from the expert. You can get that high quality oil at amsoil.com.
My name is Dan Weatherly. This is my 72 Chevelle. I found it on the Facebook Marketplace. It's got a big block and it's all factory numbers, and that's what I've always been looking for. I'm just a Chevelle man. I've always had one. I currently have 3, 2 hardtops and a convertible, all same color. Well, I had PPG on it, and I had the original formula. I mean, it matched perfect. And then when I went to get the paint for this one, they had sold out to another company. They changed the formula on it. They said, we can't match your formula. I said, well, just give me something what you got.
So you get the next closest thing.
Yeah. I really like the factory color better, you know, but it's good. I love it. Well, the car was a good 50-footer, but somebody had painted it and it had blisters on the clear, and I couldn't handle that. And then my wife, she don't like stripes. So off it came. Once I got into it, I seen the dirty motor and all that, and I couldn't stand it. So next thing you know, I had it tore down all the way down. Well, I had one when I was in high school. I've always liked them. It makes me proud, you know, especially people comes up and brags on it. You know, we'll be driving down the highway and they'll throw that thumb up, you know. They're just a good car to me. I mean, you know, there's a lot of good cars out there, but I like Chevelles.
Mice and other rodents like to chew stuff, and why do they do it? Well, they go for things like electrical wiring underneath your car's hood because a lot of these wires are coated in soy. The insulation is soy that tastes good to the mice. But the main reason is because their teeth never stop growing, and they want to make sure those teeth stay a manageable length, so they chew on things like insulation and wiring. And that can cause thousands of dollars in damage, and you won't find out they're in there until it's too late. So you can save money and you can save time by keeping them out in the first place. Use products from Mouse Blocker like we do here in the studio. Mouse Blocker is humane. It just uses ultrasonic waves to drive the mice out of your vehicle and out of your space. Get some affordable insurance against a potential disaster. Go to mouseblocker.com to find the Mouse Blocker device that's best for you. This is a windshield wiper. Now, it seems simple, but even master mechanics I know get confused about what size they need and how the thing comes off and goes back on. And the windshield wiper process can be so cumbersome. So how have you, Keaton, at Windy Wipers made the whole process easier?
At Windy, we actually ran into the exact same problem, and that's how we started the company. So it really boils down to a couple things. One, people I think get tired of the actual performance of the blade itself. And two, people find it very confusing on how to actually install them, what kind of adapter to use, and where to buy the blades.
Let's first talk about performance. I know folks let it go a year or two before they get new wipers. How often should they be changing their wipers, and what are the telltale signs that they need to change them?
Definitely. I mean, that's very common. I'd say most people probably are overdue for a change wiper. When we started Windy and I needed to replace the blades on my car, it had probably been over 2 years since I last replaced them. So generally, people replace them about every year. But the telltale signs of being able to replace your wiper are you start to see streaking or smearing when it's working, and in some cases, if it gets bad enough, you might see your little rubber strip come off and start flailing in the wind when you're driving.
The method that I have always used for buying windshield wipers is you go into the store and you think, all right, that one's cheap, that's what I'm gonna get. So how are wipers all different? They're not created equal.
Yeah, that was the exact same method I used. When I had to replace the blades on my car prior to us starting the Windy company, I went to the auto store, had them look up. They showed me 24 different kinds of wipers and 24 different price tags and 24 different features, and I had no idea what to get, so I went with something solidly in the middle. But the actual wiper itself can vary with a few different parameters, but the material of the blade is definitely important. We use 100% natural rubber, which is a pretty malleable component and molds to your windshield pretty well. And we also use a flexible spring steel that pushes it down against your windshield so you won't get any gaps when it's wiping or any streaks or anything like that. Our fins, the outer casing on the wiper, we actually infuse with a polymer over the top of it, so it's very durable. So whether it's snow, sleet, hail, cats, dogs, it'll protect it from everything.
You have 10,000 or so applications on the website, which is amazing. So 10,000 different makes and models. So you've probably got one for everybody. The adapters are something that's super tricky. When you get a windshield wiper in an auto parts store, you get this bag full of little adapters, and it's hard to tell which one goes on your vehicle. How do you make that easier for folks?
For all of our vehicles, every customer that purchases our blades, we pre-fit the correct adapter on, so they don't need to fidget with the bag you mentioned of 20 different types of adapters. It's just the correct fit for their car, and they can get on and go.
Very cool. So let's take a look at what we get here if I order on windywipers.com. First of all, this is super handy. Get the card with the QR code.
Yeah.
So if I need to figure out how to install the wipers, you guys have an instructional video to show me.
Exactly.
And it's got my specific type of connector on there, the sticker, that's important as well. And this is one like we're going to install back here on this Toyota. And inside, get the wiper ready to go. And as you mentioned, it has the exact connector to fit the vehicle we're going to work on.
Exactly.
And of course, the sleeve here, by the way, folks, you hear a lot of folks that don't remove that, so you're going to need to do that, and then you are good to go.
Exactly. Yeah, we put the protective sleeve on our blades when they ship, just because we ship directly to people's front doors. Just order from your couch, get the wipers at home, and it just keeps it safe during shipping, but definitely make sure to remove it before you install it.
Well, it says wipers made easy right on the box. Let's find out how simple that process really is once you pop it out of the box here, Kyler. First of all, this is a Toyota. It's a daily driver, but you guys have 10,000 different makes and models that you cover. What's the range of vehicles we're talking about here?
Yeah, that's correct. So we've outfitted everything from Lamborghinis to snowplows and just about everything in between.
And let's talk about locations. Where can we find your wipers? Where have people bought them around the world?
So we currently sell wipers in all 50 states. We even have a pair in the Congo, if you can believe that.
That's amazing. So good test bed in the jungle. And
yeah, so they will hold up to Amazon rainforests.
You bring up the rainforest, and that reminds me, you get wipers, from the auto parts store, and you've got 6 million pieces of plastic that come with it, including those extra adapters in the packaging. What are you doing at Windy Wipers to stay more green?
So with our blades, we pre-fit every wiper with the correct adapter to fit directly to the vehicle's wiper arm. So there is no wasted plastic.
If you go to windywipers.com, you're going to find premium wipers at a great price that you are going to love. Wipers made easy at windywipers.com. We'll return next with more Motorhead Garage, so don't go anywhere. Motorhead Garage is brought to you by Classic Industries, your one-stop shop for all restoration and performance parts and accessories. The Spray Source, the #1 source for professional and DIY paint products delivered right to your door. And by Performance Fuel Specialists, changing the way you treat your fuel. David Smith is our PaintedAutoParts.com Motorhead of the Week, and we met David when he let us borrow his fabulous 1967 Camaro for a shoot here in the studio. And once we saw the Camaro, we had to know the story. David tells me he's had it for 20 years, and when he got it, it was just a shell, no interior at all, and 20 years later, it looks like this. The car looks fantastic, and it has plenty of power thanks to the 350 cubic inch crate motor he dropped into the thing. And David also sent me a few photos of his 1970 Chevrolet CST pickup, along with a few photos of some of the other classic cars he's worked on through the years. Some fantastic work from David Smith. He is our PaintedAutoParts.com Motorhead of the Week. Here at Motorhead Garage, we love giving the people what they want. Here's one you wanted to see again. If you're a truck owner, you know how useful a truck can be, but you also know it has some limitations and you need some accessories to make it really work for you. And the place to go for quality truck accessories, that's DZ. Now, Josh, tell me what your focus is at DZ when it comes to truck accessories.
Well, we've always wanted to add life to your truck. So we want to deliver a quality truck accessory that delivers the purpose that you need it for. If that's to get in this longer distance for our transfer tanks or our overland kit like you see here.
Well, we'll get to the specifics here, but tell me about the company. How long has DZ been at this?
So we've been in business since 1977. We're based in Des Moines, Iowa. We've got a little over 1,000 employees, over 200 open positions. So if you know anybody in the Midwest looking for a job, tell them to go to dz.com/careers. 1 million square foot of manufacturing and lots of manufacturing capabilities.
And how much of your stuff is actually made in the United States?
We try to make about 95%. There's some stuff that low-cost countries have to be, but fewer and fewer items these days with the cost of shipping and the cost of labor in low-cost countries going up. We're more and more competitive every day.
And regardless, the bottom line for you is quality. It even says so right in your motto there. How do you ensure that kind of quality?
Well, manufacturing things there in Des Moines, Iowa is really the first purpose or step. You know, we do a lot of OEM manufacturing as well, so all of our quality standards are based on the requirements for Chevy, Ford, Dodge, Honda, Acura, you name it OEM-wise, we'll build something for them.
How important is it for you to turn out a quality item to keep people happy?
It's the key, right? I mean, if you buy something, spend your hard earned, and it doesn't fill that purpose, you're not going to be happy, and we want you to be happy because we want you to come back. We got over 800 SKUs, so just because I sold you a step today doesn't mean I can't sell you a transfer tank tomorrow.
Now let's talk about the step here. This is a very cool looking deal. A lot of steps out there. How does yours stand apart from what we see with other steps?
Yeah, so on the Hex series here, we really we wanted innovative in multitude of ways. My wife at a 5'1" versus me at 6'2" have different step patterns getting in the same truck. So what we did is we designed a step where you can actually move that stepping surface infinitely along that extrusion. So it does a multitude of things. Jobbers or dealers have to stock fewer SKUs because we've got 3 that fit all mid-size and full-size trucks. You just choose the length and the bracket kit and you're good to go. And then you can tune that based on where the doors are or where the step pattern is, and even on opposite sides of each other.
It'll take you an afternoon to actually put the step on there, but once it's on, how easy is the adjustment?
Minutes. I mean, 8 bolts, slide it. You don't even have to take it off, you just slide it. Or if you're going off-road and you don't want to worry about that hoop sticking out there, slide it off. Put it back on.
Versatility is also important when it comes to your cab racks here, and that is really kind of the core of what you do. Tell me how those work.
Well, that's where it really started on our Hex Series products. So in 2007, we launched our cab rack line of products, and it was really just focused on that contractor and that utilitarian protect your cab give you some versatility. We have slide tie downs for your ladders or your beacons to mount lights and stuff up there. But we've expanded that now into our whole Overland series of product. So you can choose the front cab rack with or without mesh, our rear, and then add our Overland side kit and top kit, which comes with your crossbar. And from there, you can see the sky's the limit. Because of the Hex series has so much versatility, your guys are going to come up with 1,000 things to do with it that we've never even thought of yet.
Well, Chad Hoover is the owner of this truck, and he is a DZ man through and through. What do you love about DZ?
The thing that I love the most about DZ is that their products are quality, because if it's not going to stand up to the torture that I put it through, and I'm going to put it through some torture, it's not of any use to me. One of my favorite things about DZ is their willingness to experiment and their willingness to work on a product until they get it right. And one product that they just got right is the new tailgate board. Now, I got a custom version of it to go along with my truck theme, but the one that you'll get will do everything that you need it to, whether you're putting a gun together, working on a project, measuring a fish, cleaning a fish. It's basically an oversized cutting board work platform that attaches right to your tailgate.
How is it better than just going on top of a regular tailgate?
The reason it's better than just a standard tailgate, because if you got a bony butt like mine and you sit on a tailgate, it makes it comfortable. But you know as well as I do, you've dropped hardware on a tailgate and it's fell over. You've set a drink on one of those ridges but didn't get it just right and it fell over. So the thing about it is it's not only fashionable and it looks good and it's a conversation piece, it serves a whole bunch of purposes. In fact, every time I do a new project, I find another little thing that I like about that tailgate board.
Well, if you're looking for amazing and really versatile truck accessories, check them out at DZ, spelled like that, .com. You are the reason we do Motorhead Garage, and we're glad you came along for the ride. Let's do it again in 7 days. Until then, drive safely.